Hello and welcome back to SPDL Season 4 quarterfinals. It's about lunch. So HGC played week 3 already and he managed to 3-0 me. Kind of think I don't have the matchup. Last time he caught me out like if you don't bring Mudbray against Mudsdale, I'm gonna be disappointed. And I brought Mudbray because I thought he doesn't have that bad of a matchup at all. So yeah, I brought it. I brought SPDL with speed grab for Empoleon, and I managed to 2-hit KO Max Fistav, Bolt Empoleon, while outspeeding it and not being 2-hit KO'd by Scald, so I forced it out and stuff, and also lived a Scald into Hurricane or other way around back then. So Mudbray actually put in some work, not gonna lie. I brought Specs, Ribombi, Mixed Helmet Toad, DD Hydreigon, Sword Dance, Drain Punch, Knock off Poison Jab, Gallade, and Scarfney Lego. When he brought AV Floette, HP Ground, Roost, Mega Pidgeot, Fistav, Defog, Toxic Rocks, pretty standard Empoleon set, Taunt, Chord Change, and Cinderace, Specs, Gudra, and Sash Shifu. He ended up sacking his Cinderace for Chord Change to keep Urshifu's Sash intact with Rocks up. And yeah, this time I hope I get a bit better result than last time. In case you don't know about Floette Eternal, because that's not something you fight every day, because it's not released in the actual game. But we decided it's not broken or anything, but it's definitely annoying to Cork, because the Cork doesn't have the stats, you have to put them in manually. And yeah, it's basically a more offensive, faster version of Florges. Can't hold a Violet. I mean, it can, but it doesn't do anything. And yeah, it has Light of Ruin, which is a 140 base power special fairy move with 50% recoil. So really strong attack there. And yeah, let's get right into my team. So I'm bringing Sash, Lead, Ribombi. Actually, after 2 seasons of using Ribombi and Speedle, it's the first time I ever bring Stun Spore, which is actually pretty hilarious, since it's a standard move on the Smogon set. So Sticky Web, Moonblast, HP Ground for stuff like the Cinderace. Last time I brought HP Rock. I decided to go HP Ground this time, hitting stuff like Empoleon or at least neutral on. I don't know, we won't switch into Shifu anyway, but I had HP Rock because of Cinderace and Pidgeot, but Moonblast does more to Pidgeot anyway. So I decided to go HP Ground this time. Not that it makes a huge difference, but mainly for Empoleon. Then I have Power Herb, Meteor Beam near Lego with Grass Knot, Power Gem, Sludge Wave, just max speed to get speed boost, but keep as much special attack as possible, so it's still lower than the speed. Yeah, it's just a pretty standard set actually. Then I have my Gallade, Sword Stance, pretty similar to last time. EVs are different, it's more defensive this time. And I have Close Combat over Drain Punch because I want more damage. And yeah, I think the EVs is so after a Close Combat the defense drop, I can still live an Earthquake from Mudsdale. And yeah, Ferrophone, Occoberry, Knockout, Stealth Rock, Body Press, and Thunder Wave. Pretty much Fistav just speed grabbed for the Slowking. I mean, if I can outspeed it, I can attack it before it goes for flamethrower, getting rid of an item or something. Yeah. Alemola Rocky Helmet, Scald, Wish, Light Screen and Toxic. Light Screen I thought could be pretty useful for the Pidgeot, because since I don't bring Rotom, once my near Lego goes down, Pidgeot is looking scary, and even near Lego, not sure can learn Pidgeot. Iron Tail / learn Pidgeot. Iron Tail. Come on, Iron Tail. Can't learn Iron Tail. Okay, so it can't learn Iron Tail, so I might have been a bit too scared about that. Then I have Scarf Dragon, last but not least. Draco of Power Flash Cannon Dragon Pulse, just crapped for Urshifu in case it brings Scarf. So, yeah, almost max speed, but not that it changed anything. It could have well went at max speed, but I don't need it. So, I would say let's go right into the replay. So he brings Mudsdale, Pidgeot, Cinderace, Slowking, Floette, and Kudra. And like you notice, he brings the Mudsdale because I called him out, like, if you don't bring Mudsdale against Mudbray, I'm gonna be disappointed, and I didn't bring Mudbray. So I played the Uno reverse card right there. And yeah. So I don't see an Urshifu on my screen, and I'm like super surprised since my fairy is Ribombee. My only fairy on the whole draft is Ribombee, and Urshifu literally runs through my team. And yeah, I'm super surprised about that, but let's get right into the battle. I lead up with my Ferrothorn against his Goodra. And I'm Ockerberry, so even if he has like Flamethrower, Fire Blast, I tank this pretty well and I get Scout for that. So he goes for the Flamethrower immediately as I just knock off this item, which is the V. Unfortunately, he burns me right there, turn 1, so I'm in range of Flamethrower now, guaranteed. I want to keep this as a sack, so I go into my new Lego, which in hindsight probably wasn't the best play, but then again it's playoffs and stuff, and sometimes you make nervous play because I kind of need near Lego healthy for the Pidgeot. Yeah, so he predicts that, goes for Surf. A good play on him, on his part. My near Lego is pretty chipped right now, and I just click my Meteor Beam immediately because I want damage on the Goodra. He goes into Mudsdale and takes the Meteor Beam quite well. I'm thinking I'm +1, so I can Grass Knot, knock it out if he's not Rindoberry. But yeah, he lives that, probably might be a V, not sure, because I'm +1 and Mudsdale is super heavy and it lives the Grass Knot, so it might actually be a V. He knocks me out with the Earthquake, and now Pidgeot, whenever it comes in, it basically always gets a kill, and I don't like this position at all. I go into my Ribombee, and for some reason I click webs, even though I'm mainly scared of Pidgeot, which isn't affected by webs at all. Also Cinderace, which I don't feel like webs actually did much there, except maybe for some Scarf Floette or something, or Floette in general. No, just for Scarf Floette really. So webs might have been a bit of a misplay there. It should have just went for damage. It's in comes Cinderace. I'm clicking the Stun Spore. And Actually took me 6 turns to realize he doesn't have a Shifu. Maybe that's also why I clicked Sticky Web, and then I realized, wait, he doesn't bring a Shifu, why do I even bother setting webs? So I go for the stun spell right here as he just clicks the Pyro Ball, and I just go for damage with the HP ground as he clicks Scourge Change. I just get up my webs again because his priority is Sucker Punch, and which doesn't work when I go for webs, and yeah, now at least I have webs up on both sides and not only on mine, which would have been really annoying. So I rather get them up on both sides. Both our fastest mons at the moment, because Cinderace is paralyzed, are not grounded, so not affected by webs. So my Hydreigon kinda looks scary with the webs up, but also his Pidgeot looks a lot more threatening right now. Well, it would have outsped anything really besides Rebondi, I guess. Yeah, so I just go for a bit of more chip and sack this thing to the Pyro Ball for damage. Go into Gallade and revenge it with the Poison Jab. The Poison Jab just in case he goes into like Floette. In comes Pidgeot and I'm forced to sack something. I decide, yeah, Ferrothorn, even if it can set rocks for the Pidgeot, which might have been a better play turn 1. But then again, Gudra would have had the Assault Vest. I just sack my Ferrothorn right here to the Hurricane. And at this point I just have to go into my Hydreigon and just click Draco. Just want to damage the Pidgeot and anything, and if he goes Floette, so be it. I have to sack something else, and I'm really not in a great position right here. So he goes Mudsdale, sacks this to the Draco, which means he can pretty freely go into Floette, because the most threatening set at the moment is Scarf. If I'm not Scarf, Pidgeot runs through my team, and so only Scarf is really the threatening set for him. And even at minus after the Draco drop, Floette tanks Flash Cannon pretty well, unless I'm attacking the Iron Tail, which I did last time with the Dragon Dance set. But he's pretty free to go into Floette, since Scarf is the only set that threatens him, and I'm locked into Draco if I am, which I am. So I go into my Alomomola. I don't want to sack Mega Gallade right now. I'm just going into Alomomola as he clicks Light of Ruin. And look at this, he does 98%. He's just that strong. How much speed F am I? I'm just max HP, max fist stuff. Okay, so I'm 4 special defense EVs on this, so not a lot, but 98 is a lot of damage. And now he takes just a little bit of recoil, 91% recoil, which is, I never saw something like that. Something ever take that much recoil from a move. Like, ever. So, this Floette is actually pretty dead right now because of Alonomola's incredible HP stat. Which is great because now I can just sack my Alomomola, it's the least valuable member. I can't regenerate or out sack something else, but what does Alomomola really do? Yeah, it's much better to keeping my other pieces alive. So he goes for the Light of Ruin, and I'm pretty free to just go into Hydreigon, and since it's severely chipped, I can just lock myself into Dark Pulse and not into Flash Cannon, which would allow something less Slowking. Not that it threatens me, but I have to get a lot of chip on Gallade if I want to keep Hydreigon, which is my only way of winning right now, because it's the only thing outspeeding Pidgeot and stuff. So yeah, I just click the Dark Pulse, take out the Floette, and in comes the Gudra. I'm forced to go into Gallade right now because, like I said, Hydreigon is my only win con. and I'm locked into Dark Pulse instead of Draco. I could have went for some flinches, but that would lose me the game immediately. It's like 70% of the time, I lose the game immediately. So I go into a Gallade. It has pretty decent special defense, so I take a Draco definitely. I actually take two because this one did 60. That means the next one will do about 30, and I'm pretty free to just attack right here. Setting up doesn't really do anything to me since as long as Pidgeot is alive, because it just can revenge me. And if he goes hard Pidgeot right here and on his sword stance, I lose immediately. So he goes right into the Slowking. I predict that play and go for the knockoff, as he turns out to be Colberberry, so it doesn't do anything. And I just go into my Hydreigon right here. On the Scald, he doesn't get the burn. So I just click the Dark Bolt and don't get the flinch. He gets the Toxic up. I much rather would have had him burning me with Scald, since now I'm taking more residual damage. Since I only have 2 months left, and Gallade is basically at a sag at this point, unless I get into a position where I can click an attack for free. So right here I could just Dark Pulse again, take out the Slowking, but that again allows in Goodra, which means I would have to sack Gallade. And yeah, if he goes hard Goodra right here, which he easily can because he takes Dark Pulses for days, I'm forced to sack Gallade and get like 3 Draco crits in a row to win the battle. So I decide to go hard into Gallade right here, as he clicks the future side, and I just go for the close combat, take my KO. If he switches out, close combat is almost my best play since Slowking is in range. So I get rid of the Slowking and he just brings in the Pidgeot, and I just sack my Gallade. And now my win con is critting 2 Dracos in a row. Since I'm toxic, it's basically my only win con. If I got burned, it would have been a bit better, but I'm not complaining about not getting Scald burned. The one time I want to get burned, no. So I go for the Draco, don't get the crit, he goes for the Hurricane, and after this toxic damage, I take 6% from the next one, and that's basically GG. He gives me the last kill on Pidgeot, so it's a 1-0 loss, and that's it for my SPDL season. GG to HGC, he really played better than me, he prepped better than me, and yeah, I would also say he had a slight match